Okay, so far we selected a car image, car photo. We put on some layer, we locked it. Using the pen tool, we drew a bunch of shapes tracing this car, building up from the back towards the front as much as possible to get as many details as we can. We drew with no fill. We had a black stroke. Once I finished that basic drawing, I highlighted all those shapes and drag them over here by themselves. Before I go any further, I sort of like how I've gotten this nice pencil drawing or nice pen looking drawing. And I may want to use that in the future, so I'm going to click and drag over everything. Hold the Option key, click and drag. Command Z. Click and drag over everything. Hold the Option key, click on one of these lines and drag it up here. Let go of the mouse, let go of the Option key. And so I have this original shape, this original drawing saved up here in case I ever want to use that in the future. I can highlight that and group it into one shape, object, group. There we go. Now I can move around together. And I'll just put that up there in case I ever want to use that drawing. And I can also have that as a backup in case I screw this one up. Okay. We drew some full shapes several times over and over to get this car, but some of these shapes are hard to draw just as one shape, like the trim on this window, the trim around this window, certain things like that. So what I can do is use my existing shapes to draw this trim. I'm going to take the shape of this windshield that I drew. I'm going to duplicate that, Option, click, drag, let go of the mouse, let go of my Option key. So now there's the original here. Here's my duplicated one. Well, I can duplicate that one more time, Option, click, drag. And then I can just make that shape, if I can zoom in so you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to make that shape a little bit bigger. And then I can position that into place. A little bit bigger. So I have two shapes. I have my original shape, and I have the duplicated one on top. I made it a little bit bigger so it looks like a trim. Now, so I just have that trim shape. I can select both of those. Go to my Pathfinders window and delete. Oh, I can't do that yet. What I have to do is take this original shape, and you can see where that is in my layers window. And I can move that back shape, that smaller shape, on top of the larger shape. Now when I select both of them, I can go to my Pathfinder tool, or my Pathfinder window, and with the second one here I can minus the front shape. So now I have one shape, and I'll fill it just so you can see what it is, that one yellow shape. So once again, I can do that with anything. Let me show you how that works over here. I can draw one shape, draw another shape on top of that, go to my Move tool, select both of those shapes. With the Pathfinder window, it's up here. The first one I can combine those shapes. The second one I can cut out that shape. And then my second shape will have that hole in it. Okay, let me delete that. So anyways, I can use that to make things like window trim and other shapes if I need to. Let me move that. I'm on my Move tool V, or Selection tool, and move that back into place. Good. So now that I got my basic car drawn out here, I can start filling in some of the colors. I can do that by just selecting any of the shapes and selecting any colors I want. Here through the color palette, color window, color swatches, whatever. Another quick way to do that is to grab colors directly from my image here. Oh, I'm going to do that. One thing I've got to be careful of for doing that is if I have a dark car or dark sections that are on top, if I fill those right away, then I won't be able to see some of the shapes in the background. So what I'm going to do is try to start from the back and work my way forward. And so I can grab that fender. I could go to my eyedrop tool over here. The hotkey for that is I. So I'm going to go to V, direct selection, or I'm sorry, selection tool. I to grab some colors. I could grab some color here. Do just some basic colors to start out with, then we can come back later and do some gradients and stuff. V. grab the hood, eye, grab a basic color, V, I, V, which is the selection tool, I. So again, I'm just getting some basic colors here, then we'll come back and add some details. So if I keep going between V and I can grab some colors here. They don't have to be exact, it depends on how detailed you want it. They don't have to be exact. There's that window trim I did. I can grab a basic color for that. And my windshield itself. I can grab a color for that. And so on and so forth. Now, I needed that window to be transparent. So, with that window selected, I can add some transparency to that. I can accomplish that by using my appearance panel. With the appearance panel, I can do almost anything in Illustrator. Okay? My appearance panel tells me information about whatever I have selected. Whatever shape I select, my appearance panel shows me information about it. So here's my windshield. There's the stroke, there's the fill color, and then I can lower the opacity. If I lower the opacity, then I can become see-through. I can see the shapes underneath it. I can do that by just lowering the opacity, or I can do some of these Photoshop style blending modes, like darken. I can see through that a little bit. Multiply, so they have different effects. Lighten. Soft light. So there's all kinds of different effects I can do there. Well, I sort of like to multiply, and I'm just going to lower the opacity a little bit to get the effect I want. So there still gives you a sense that there's something on top of there. And we'll, in a little bit, we'll add some highlights and shadows and more details to that windshield. But that's a good way to do some transparency. Alright, back to the appearance window. Once again, I have any shape selected shows me my fill and stroke. Underneath my fill and stroke, I can adjust the opacity for just my fill or just my stroke. The overall opacity. I can also access my effects. And all kinds of, I can access anything I need to about my shape. Alright. Well, I'm going to continue filling these general shapes with some general colors by selecting them with V, with the move tool, or selection tool, select a shape, go to the eye, and select a color to fill it with. I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm just going to stop the recording now just for the sake of time, but I'm going to go through and fill in all these other shapes. Then we'll come back and continue working.